Silent and bleeding, the SEAL medic froze when he saw the emblem on her uniform. Real story. The rain came down hard over the forward outpost, turning the red dust into sticky clay. The air smelled of iron, blood and rust, when the medevac chopper finally touched down. The SEAL medic, Chief Petty Officer Grant, sprinted toward the landing zone with his trauma kit slung over one shoulder. Another casualty, they said. Possibly civilian. He wasn't ready for what he saw. The stretcher team rushed toward him, carrying a woman barely conscious, her uniform drenched in crimson. She wasn't screaming, wasn't even breathing hard, just silent, staring at the gray clouds above like she'd seen this all before. Grant dropped to his knees beside her, cutting through the shredded sleeve to expose the wound. Shrapnel had torn deep across her shoulder and collarbone, a mess of blood and grit. "Stay with me," he said, voice steady but urgent. "You're gonna be fine." She didn't reply. Her lips trembled, then pressed shut as if pain was something she refused to give voice to. He started to clean the wound, but his hand froze halfway, his eyes catching a flash of metal beneath the torn fabric. An emblem, not the standard army patch, not the medic cross, not even a unit insignia he recognized. It was a silver falcon over a black trident, something he hadn't seen since Bud's training. The emblem of Ghost Recon Alpha, a classified multinational task unit rumored to have been disbanded years ago. Grant's breath caught. "Where did you get this patch?" he muttered. Her eyes flicked toward him, calm and sharp despite the blood loss. "It's mine," she whispered, barely audible over the rotor blades. He stared at her. Impossible. Alpha was dead, she finished for him, her voice hoarse but steady. That's what they wanted everyone to think. Before he could respond, she grabbed his wrist. Her grip was strong, too strong for someone losing that much blood. "Don't take me to field command," she hissed. "No reports, no ID tags." Grant hesitated, torn between orders and instinct. She wasn't supposed to exist. The emblem, the scars, the calm, it all screamed something off the books. The chopper crew shouted, "We're losing time." Grant met her eyes again. They were cold, gray, and resolute. Whatever she had done, whoever she was, this wasn't her first time bleeding for a mission that would never be recorded. He nodded once, closing his trauma kit. "You didn't come through here," he said quietly. "But you'll live." As he wrapped her wound, she exhaled and whispered something he barely heard over the engine roar. "Tell the Admiral, the ghost is still breathing." The rotors lifted, wind and dust swallowing her words. Grant stood there long after the helicopter vanished into the storm, staring at the blood-stained ground, still trying to convince himself he hadn't just treated a legend the world had buried. Chief Grant couldn't sleep that night. The storm had passed, but its echo stayed with him, the pounding rain, the roar of the helicopter, and those last words, "Tell the Admiral, the ghost is still breathing." He sat alone in the med bay, the fluorescent lights humming softly. On the steel table before him lay a small scrap of torn fabric, the piece he'd quietly cut from her sleeve before the others loaded her into the chopper. The silver falcon and black trident glimmered faintly under the light, the threads frayed but unmistakable. Ghost Recon Alpha. Every SEAL who'd been in long enough had heard the whispers. An elite joint task unit made up of operators who didn't officially exist, people who took missions even Tier 1 teams refused. But they'd gone dark nearly 8 years ago after an operation in the Hindu Kush went wrong. Rumor said the entire team had perished. Grant leaned back, rubbing his temples. "So how the hell did she walk out of that grave?" he muttered. He pulled up the medevac records on his terminal. No name, no serial, no origin unit. Just the note he'd typed himself. Unidentified, female, stabilized. Evacuated to Base Echo. But even that report was gone now. Deleted. Someone had already covered her trail. Grant's instinct screamed. He'd seen Black Ops ghosts before, operatives that vanished from files, only to reappear under new call signs. But something about her was different. The way she endured pain without flinching, the command in her eyes. Whoever she was, she'd outranked the battlefield itself. The door creaked. Commander Hale, his Colorado, stepped in quietly. "You're still here, Chief." Grant snapped to attention. "Yes, sir. Just cleaning up the med logs." Hale studied him for a long moment, then said, "Forget the evac case from this morning." "Sir, you heard me. She was never here. Higher command already handled it." Grant's throat tightened. "With respect, Commander, she was bleeding out. I need to follow up." "Chief." Hale's tone sharpened. "This isn't one of your usual patients. Orders from the top, 3 stars up. Drop it." Grant nodded, but his chest burned with unease. Hale turned to leave, then paused at the doorway. Off the record, he said quietly, if you ever see that emblem again, pretend you didn't. Some ghosts are better left alone. When Hale was gone, Grant sat in silence, staring at the emblem again. The black trident gleamed under the harsh light, as if daring him to look away. He slipped the patch into his breast pocket. Whatever command wanted buried, he needed to understand. Because if she was still alive, if the Ghost Division was breathing again, it meant something far bigger than one wounded soldier was coming back to life.